I gather up the arm this way so if he's out of alignment. I tilt him forward this direction here so his nose is going forward in this empty pocket of space, and that's where I want to take him with the throw. I step in front of him, I bring my butt over here and put my tailbone right in the middle of his quad this direction, and then I throw. So whenever we get into this clinch range, we have to understand that depending on what kind of quadrant I am on his body and where I am in relation to him will determine the type of clinch and the tactics for that clinch that I'll employ. So basically the ones we're going to look at more closely than others are the front clinch, side clinch 1, side clinch 2, and rear clinch. For the front clinch, the way I would define front clinch here is if JD is in this position, then I'm looking to establish a front clinch with our feet making this kind of a pyramid structure like this. So if you look, there's a triangle shape happening here, where there's a point here where our feet are together, and then a point over here with my foot. So whenever we're in this kind of position, if I want to dominate this position, I want to get my hips on one side, my head underneath his chin, or across to the other side shoulder. From this position, I can be over his arm like we were in our pummeling drill, or I can have double underhooks, which would be even better. Double underhooks are going to be a very dominant kind of position like that. So that would be the front clinch. The way that our feet would change for the side clinch is more of a T shape here. Rather than this, we're looking at this shape. So we still have a pyramid structure, but now there's a point kind of in the middle of that pyramid structure as well. The way that I would want my arms in this kind of position, I want my head over on this side so he's not breaking my posture. I want to stay lined up and have his center line off center on me like this. I need to take into consideration this arm over here, so I would like to either hug the arm this way, holding the elbow and pinning the wrist, or getting a far side control like this, where I'm holding the wrist and the forearm in this manner. So either here, like this, or like this, depending on the energy. I can't really force very much whenever the guy is my physical equal or superior, so I have to take the energy that he's given me and make the most use of it. So this would be a side clinch 1. If my head is behind, this would be a different side clinch. But this way here, our feet are still the same. I'm still trying to control his body the same way, and I get this kind of control would be very good, or I don't really have to monitor that arm quite as carefully, so I could go back to my double underhooks if necessary. To round these out, we'll look at rear clinch, in which my feet will be a lot like there was in the front clinch. So I have this kind of triangular or pyramid shape where there's a point here, our feet together, a point here, and then a point back here with my other foot. From this, I'm going to have double unders, and I can have either a gable or S grip is going to be the most effective. I want to stay low and keep my head pinned to the middle of his back. If we're talking about a self-defense or a striking situation, I don't want him to be able to elbow me. By putting my ear in the middle of his back, he's not going to be able to reach me with those elbows. So again, the grip that I'm using here, either gable grip, no thumbs, like this, or an S grip this way, okay, where I'm just wrapping the fingers. This, rear clinch like this, okay? Side clinch here, where my head is behind, this way. Side clinch where my head is in front, monitoring the arm here or here, and then front clinch this direction. So guys, let's look a little bit closer about whenever we're having the discussion about the different types of clinch, what my hands are doing in each kind of different one. So whenever we get to the position here, when I'm in the front clinch, I can have a grip position like this, where I'm simply grabbing a hold of my wrist or the base of my hand like this over, or I could go gable grip. A gable grip is where all of our fingers are stuck together. We go palm to palm, grab over, and here this way. It's not the same as this grip here, so I'm not using thumbs. So if I have either gable grip this direction here, or just locking the wrist in the back like that. From more of a side clinch, whenever I get over here, the way that I'm holding and controlling the arm is I want to get the flat of the wrist pinched in my armpit like that, and then hold here, C-clamping the elbow, so I feel the point of his elbow in the middle of my hand. This way here, he can't get his arm back. He may be strong enough to move me around whenever he's pulling, but he can't remove his arm because of how I'm controlling those points of articulation. Whenever we get to if we do this variation here on the side clinch, whether it's front or back, I'm holding the wrist with a thumb grip here, and then a monkey grip or a thumbless grip on the forearm here this way. I'm pulling this in nice and tight and keeping control close to his body, keeping his armpit connected like that. So this is this mixed grip here with thumb and no thumb. Whenever I'm in the rear clinch, what the hands are doing, we can go back to our gable grip, if possible here like this, or we can go to an S grip depending on the size of the guy and how far I need to get around him. An S grip is where we take the fingers, roll them into each other like this, and keep it nice and tight and snug to his body. Also, gable grip still works as well. So that's a little bit of a breakdown about the different kinds of clinch types and grip considerations for each of those different clinches. So again, guys, the way that this works is I don't get to always determine what I want to have happen. I rarely get to do that. Unless I'm the bigger, stronger, more aggressive, more athletic person, and I don't get to just dictate every single aspect of this. So a lot of this is about reading the energy and then reacting appropriately depending on whatever the energy is. Whenever I get to this certain kind of clinch types, I need an appropriate response. And so the first one that we'll look at is whenever I'm in this front type clinch, and something that tends to be a good option whenever I get there. If from here, I get to this front clinch, and again, to define the front clinch, our feet are in this pyramid structure like this, but my hips are kind of facing him, my center line is on him, and my head here is probably pushing underneath his chin to kind of cam and disrupt his balance a little bit. For any kind of takedown against somebody, unless I'm, again, bigger, stronger, and faster, then I need to take them off balance somehow. In Japanese, we would call this kazushi, and that's an off-balancing term that we borrow from Japanese jiu-jitsu or from judo. The kazushi here is I'm taking his spine out of alignment here with my head this way. And what I want to look to do from here, now that I have his balance compromised, is I'm going to take this leg inside and pinch close to the inside of his leg here like this, one. And then I want to take my outside leg right by the Achilles tendon here and hook it to his Achilles tendon. When I go to do that, I press my hips into the top part of his leg here the same way. And then I'm going to take him back this direction over here and land on top in this kind of position. Whenever we land here, I don't want to land like a blanket on top of him because it's more of a chance that I could roll off one side or the other. This way here, I have him kind of encaged, and so I can slide right over to the mount position here like this. So one more time on this takedown. We get into this clinch range like this. We have this pyramid structure to our base. I have his balance compromised with my head. I'm keeping my gable grip or my wrist grip here in the back. I slide in. I'm going to hook Achilles tendon to Achilles tendon on this side, hook and pull his toes the direction of my butt and drive my hips forward, taking him this way. I land with my hands on the floor, knee on the floor in the back, foot on the floor here so my knee is up, not landing in between his legs. And then I slide across into my mount position like this. So whenever we're navigating this kind of clinch range, sometimes he can have different reactions in response to his balance, in response to me trying to disrupt his posture, or him just trying to get away and make space away from me like this, or re-clinch with me. Whenever we wind up here and I establish my front clinch going in, here, if he's trying in some way to pull away or turn more sideways, then I'm going to have to adapt this and go into a more of our side clinch. If this is a striking situation, then I don't want this hand here to be able to get the velocity and hit me in the face. So that's why I'm going to reach across and try to gather this grip up like this here. This is one option. So I'm holding the elbow here and I'm pinching the wrist whenever we're in this side clinch position and we have this T frame. What I can do from here, because his base is weakest this direction or this direction back here, I can start to off balance him in that forward position. Whenever we're here, I want to grab something in the back or just palm the back if there's no material available. And I want to tilt him forward like I'm making him bow. Part of what makes this possible is my shoulder here driving forward like this. Once I get his nose over his toes in this direction, now I can step back in front and execute a hip throw. The mechanics of a hip throw are I'm going to pivot this foot, step inside this way where my feet are no closer together than his are. And I want to bring my tailbone to his far side thigh here, right in the middle of it. So I'm sitting basically on his leg. Once I get to this position, I look to straighten the legs here like this. I'm going to pull, turn, look over to my left, and then finish the throw like this. So once again on this one, we've kind of modified our front clinch has turned into more of a side clinch. I gather up the arm this way so that he's out of alignment. I tilt him forward this direction here so his nose is going forward in this empty pocket of space, and that's where I want to take him with the throw. I step in front of him, I bring my butt over here and put my tailbone right in the middle of his quad this direction, and then I throw this way. Whenever we wind up in more of this side clinch kind of position like this here, it's possible that I'm trying to get control of his arm and he's pulling that arm back away from me. This could be because this is a striking situation or even just in a tournament that he's just trying to keep me from gripping his arm. Whenever he does that, a good secondary grip or even primary grip for me to get is to slide to his wrist as he retracts and look to put my hand through this hole here. And I'm going to staple this over here nice and tight to his side. This way here I have control of him and I can also kind of manipulate his shoulders and manipulate his posture because of that. At this position here, even better is if I can get my head to behind, and that's another version of our side clinch. So I'm going to kind of slingshot the movement, and what I mean by that is I'm going to kind of stretch back here like this, and instead of bending over and putting myself into a headlock, I'm going to squat straight down and then come up on the rear side here. Again, whenever I'm in the back, I'm gonna staple my head to the middle of his back here like this, and then I wanna look for a simple takedown from here, which is to take my leg that's beside him, put it right here to block his leg, and then I'm gonna twist and turn the direction that I have his arm trapped, dropping him here on his side. Now we have to be careful in training because he's landing on an arm side that's already trapped, so there's a lot of pressure on his shoulder. But from this direction here, it gives me a nice ability to step over and secure my technical mount position, or to disengage depending on what the context of the situation is. So one more time on this takedown. Very powerful grip that I can secure from this side clinch position is to hold the wrist and to wrap over. And remember, as our discussion in the clinch positions went, we have a thumb full grip around the wrist and then a thumbless grip here on the forearm this direction. I want to move my head to the back here, getting this secondary side clinch. Squat, drop down here like this, keep my ear to the center of his back, and then take my leg that's on the outside right now behind his leg here. Now I twist and pull his butt the direction of the empty space right here where there's no base for him. Again, at this position here, I may elect to step over from my technical mount position, look to take his back, or look to disengage or something else, again, depending on whatever the context is.